The story begins in the profound sky continent, in the floating cloud city. The Xiao clan, in the protagonist's first life. He is the only grandson of the Xiao clan's fifth elder, Xiao Che, 16 years old, and he thinks, today is the big day. I'm going to marry the #1 beauty in the entire floating cloud city. It feels like a dream. He, a little sad, lowers his head, lamenting, Xiao Qingye is not only beautiful, she is also talented. On the other hand, I am a useless person with damaged meridians since birth. She must be very reluctant to marry me. The scene shifts to another location in the Xiao mansion. Two young men meet. One of them, the grandson of the second elder, Xiao Yulong, hands over something stating, Brother Yulong, this is the assassin's heart powder, colorless and tasteless. Whoever drinks it will die, leaving no trace or clue. I guarantee you'll be satisfied. The other young man, the only son of the clan leader, Xiao Yulong, with a somber expression, replies, good work. Knowing this puts my mind at ease. He pours the poison into the container and watches a girl taking soup to the protagonist and questions, Xiao Linger, where are you going? Xiao Linger, the only daughter of the fifth elder, 15 years old, replies, huh? I'm going to little Che's room to give him a bowl of soup. The young man approaches her, intervening. Nonsense. Today is a day of celebration for brother Xiao Che, especially tonight. How can you give him just that? Come here. Hand this over. This medicinal supplement will help him a lot. She, confused, retorts, a medicinal supplement? Little Chi doesn't need it. He's healthy. The other young man yells, you don't understand anything about men. Don't worry. Do you think I would harm my little brother? He switches the containers, and she watches thoughtfully, asking, Xiao Yulong, why are you suddenly concerned about little Che? Xiao Yulong replies, what older brother wouldn't worry about his younger brother? Go quickly, otherwise the soup will get cold. She turns around, agreeing. All right. Xiao Yulong watches her leave, muttering, Xiao Che, don't blame this older brother for being cruel. He clenches his fist in anger, adding, you forced me to do this. With a completely somber expression, he thinks, Xiao Qingye is my woman. Only I can marry her. Not with trash like you, Xiao Che. The protagonist, taking the bowl of soup, asks, little aunt, is this? She explains, this is a special soup with some medicinal supplements. I don't know if you'll like the taste. The protagonist, with a smile on his face, states, if it's from little aunt, I'll like it. She closes her eyes, calling him, you little rascal. He starts drinking, and she, curious, watches, asking, how are you feeling? The protagonist starts sweating, and feeling something, comments, little aunt, I'm feeling a little dizzy. He faints, and she, worried, inquires, little Chi, what's happening? Don't scare me like that. The protagonist, drowsy, murmurs, sleepy, I want to sleep. He closes his eyes. The protagonist reincarnates in the azure cloud continent. A baby is shown crying. An old man walking by hears this and approaches the baby, picking him up and commenting, poor child, you were abandoned? We met, which means we have some affinity. Here the clouds are light and the wind is calm. The mountain is well lit and the waters are clear. From today onwards, your name will be Yunche. I want to accept you as my disciple. I will teach you everything about medicine so you can heal anyone in need. Will you be willing? The baby stops crying, watching the old man. He breaks into a big smile, and the old man concludes, seeing how happy you are, I think I already know your answer. From now on, we will be master and disciple, and we will be living together. The scene shifts to 24 years later, still in the azure cloud continent. The scene shows a pile of bloody bodies on the ground. Even a little lamb is gone. Someone walks around with blood dripping, thinking, die, all of you die. Let everything and everyone accompany my master's life. A crowd is shown. The protagonist observes, they caught up to me so fast. Well, then let's go there and end this all. He goes to the end of Cloud's cliff. Someone scolds him. Yunche, you don't deserve to be the holy doctor's disciple. He is shown at the edge of the cliff, and the people are watching him. One of them accuses, you really dare to use the sky poison pearl to spread poison, killing millions of living beings in the azure cloud continent? Don't think you'll escape this cliff alive. Today, the 7 sects, in the name of God, will get rid of the cause of such calamity. The protagonist, all wounded, with his hand on his chest, retorts, don't give me that. No one here is a stranger. You keep saying you're doing this in the name of God. Don't you get tired of it? He shows the pearl in his hand and states, I know what you want is this. The people shout, the sky poison pearl. A guy laughs and celebrates. He finally revealed it. Chasing him for these 3 whole days wasn't in vain. One of the pursuers yells, "Yunche, this is the #1 divine treasure of the Azure Cloud continent. You are not worthy of carrying it." Another orders, "Hurry up and hand over the sky poison pearl. Hand over the pearl." The protagonist solemnly argues, "My master saved countless lives. He always cared more about others than himself. However, to obtain the sky poison pearl, you caused his death." Irritated, he yells, "Even if you want the sky poison pearl, even knowing this, keep dreaming." He swallows the pearl and the people shout, "Bastard! You really dared to swallow the sky poison pearl?" Another threatens, "Yunche is courting death." They rush towards the protagonist, yelling. He, calming down, comments, "All right, it's no big deal. Let's kill him and get the pearl." The protagonist starts laughing like crazy and yells, "Even if I die, it won't be by your hands." He jumps off the cliff, and as he falls, the guy watches him falling, commenting, "This madman, he really dared to jump." The end of Cloud's cliff is the first of the 4 deadliest places. "He will definitely die," another assures. "It's too benevolent for him to die on this cliff," a third sentences. "It's a shame we didn't get the sky poison pearl," another laments. The protagonist, as he falls, closes his eyes. He thinks, "In this life of mine, I had no regrets." The pearl starts to shine, and he continues thinking, "Except for not avenging my master or finding my biological parents." The scene returns to the Xiao clan. The protagonist reincarnates back into his body, and his aunt calls him, Little Chi, wake up, don't scare me like that. Please, open your eyes." The protagonist opens his eyes and sits up while she continues. "Little Chi." The protagonist looks at his own hand, questioning, "What happened? Am I still alive?" She jumps, grabbing him and celebrating, "Thank goodness, thank God, you finally woke up, Little Chi." The protagonist watches her, thinking, "I'm not dead." He, a little flushed, asks, "Thinking about it, kitten? Who are you?" She yells, "I'm your little aunt Xiaolingxi. Little Che, how can you forget me?" The protagonist's jaw drops, thinking, "Some memories suddenly surfaced. Little aunt?" He confirms, "Right, you are my little aunt." He raises a finger, remembering, "We grew up together from a young age until we were 12. We often bathed together." She, all flushed, scolds him, "How indecent! You don't need to mention that. Today is your big day, but you suddenly fainted. You made your grandfather worry." She turns around, leaving, and says, "Wait here, I'll call him." The protagonist watches her and gets up, remembering, "I am Xiao Che from the Xiao clan. Today is my wedding day with Xiao Qingyu. But didn't I die after jumping off the end of Cloud's cliff? Could everything that happened in the Azure Cloud continent have been a dream?" He looks at his own hand, deducing, "Wait, I still have my medical skills, and the sky poison pearl merged with my body after I reincarnated?" The protagonist becomes pensive, licks his lips, exclaiming, "There's still some poison in the corner of my mouth. This is assassin's heart powder." He looks at the broken bowl and deduces, "Death by poisoning. So I was killed by poisoning, and I still reincarnated into the body that was poisoned a while ago in my first life. The sky poison pearl is capable of nullifying any poison, and now it is fused with my body. That's why I'm still alive." He gets irritated by this and, going a little crazy, yells, "What a mess! Reincarnation by itself is already very surprising. And on top of that, I reincarnated together in this place and at this time. It's too much of a coincidence." He clenches his fist with a smile, concluding, "Anyway, I'm still alive. I'm fine. I can have a beautiful wife, so why think so much?" The old man enters yelling, "Z, are you okay? Is your body hurting? Are you feeling any discomfort?" He hugs the main character, who reassures him, "I'm fine, Grandpa." Grandpa, with tears in his eyes, confesses, "I almost died of fear when I found out you suddenly fainted." His aunt watches this thoughtfully and suggests, "Dad, little Z still has to go get the bride. Don't delay him." The old man agrees. "Right, little Z, go get ready." The main character narrows his eyes, confirming, "Right." He leaves, looking at the fallen bowl while someone rushes him. "Come on, you have to get the bride. Let's go, hurry up." His aunt agrees. "Okay, but..." She remembers the broken bowl and comments, "Ah, no, I forgot to clean that up." "Right, how was the soup with Xiao Yulong's medicinal supplement?" The main character replies, "Wait, is this Xiao Yulong's soup?" She confirms, "Yes, he said it would be good for you." The main character gives a little smile, thinking, "So that's it. I never thought the person who would kill me was you, my good brother." The narrator states, "The profound strength born from the profound veins is a mysterious power. Whoever possesses it will have much more strength than ordinary people. With this power, people can cut down trees with their bare hands and break rocks with just one kick. Those who do not have profound strength will have difficulty lifting a stone, even if it is the size of a basin. According to profound strength, there are 10 geniuses, each of which is unsurpassed and hierarchical. Profound elemental realm, profound nascent realm, profound true realm, profound spiritual realm, profound earth realm, profound heaven realm, profound emperor realm, profound tyrant realm, profound sovereign realm, and finally the divine origin realm. On the profound sky continent, strength means respect. Here, the kings of profound strength decide their position. The strong are praised and admired, the weak are intimidated and humiliated. The scene returns to Floating Cloud City. A group of people are gossiping. One of them asks, "Hey, did you hear about Xiao Shi from the Xiao clan? He's going to marry the #1 beauty in all of Floating Cloud City." Another comments, "Xiao Xia? That trash who doesn't have profound strength?" A third questions, "Will Xia Qingyue accept?" And the one who spoke second adds, "I heard that Xiao Xia's father gave his life to save Xia Qingyu, and that's why—" Another one arrives, interrupting them and exclaims, "Oh, why don't I have a father like that?" Another asks, "Why are you talking? How can you compare yourself to this young master?" And the one who spoke first retorts, "You can still call him young master? Didn't you hear about the toilet incident at the Xiao clan?" And the other asks, "Toilet incident?" The guy narrates, "The protagonists of these incidents were Xiao Xie and a servant of the Xiao clan." The servant points to the bucket and orders, "Come here. You were the one who filled this bucket with urine last night, weren't you?" The main character pleads, "I'm sorry, it wasn't intentional. I just drank a lot of water." And the servant mocks, "Sorry my ass, hurry up and dump that yourself." The people start laughing like crazy. One of them suggests, "Guess how it ended?" Another replies, "So Xiao Shi really cleaned his own toilet?" Another one, with tears in his eyes from laughing so hard, comments, "This young master is a joke." And an old man arrives gloomily saying, "It's a shame for Xia Qingyu. She has great talent and beauty, but she'll have to marry this useless guy." Another retorts, "A shame you feel sorry for her. Talk as if she would have eyes for an old man like you." And the old man retorts, "Not wanting to hide from you guys, but at least I'm a level 3 expert in the profound elemental realm. Even one of my farts can kill this so-called Xiao Ji." He farts, and the people watch with narrowed eyes. One of them yells, "What's wrong with you, old man?" Another questions, "Are you trying to act tough? Have some shame." Another, with his hand on his hip, argues, "Well, compared to the useless Xiao Xi, this old man is much stronger." Another laughs and agrees, "Yeah, you're right." The scene returns to the main character and his aunt helping him. She comforts him, "Little Z, don't mind what other people will say when you go get your bride. In your little aunt's heart, you will always be the best." The main character gives a little smile and replies, "Aren't they the same ones who say I'm useless? I'm already used to it." And he thinks, "In my first life, I was considered a cripple because I had damaged my profound veins, letting people humiliate me because of my inferiority complex. In my second life, I was the disciple of a holy doctor, and I still have my medical skills." Someone yells, "He's here. It's time to go." The main character walks towards the door thinking, "Someday my profound veins will be restored, and I will be at the top." Upon leaving, the main character is startled to see the helpers completely disfigured. The main character yells, "Am I going with them to get the bride? They're scary!" And the second grandson of the Xiao clan, Zhao Yang, asks, "Brother, this is the escort that this brother gathered for you. I wonder if you are satisfied." And the main character yells, "Zhao Yang, couldn't you have chosen someone with a better appearance? At least it doesn't have to be this scary. How about it?" And Zhao Yang, extending his hand, argues, "You're wrong, brother. Today you are the main figure of the Xiao clan. Without them, how can we highlight the beauty of our groom?" The guy sticks his finger up his nose, and the main character, startled, asks, "Does my beauty need help to stand out?" A bald man holding a donkey warns, "Young Master Xiaoxi, it's getting late. Please, get on the horse." The main character looks at this and questions, "Is that a horse?" The main character's little aunt yells, "Xiao Yang! Little Xiao is going to get the bride, and you prepare a donkey? Are you not showing respect for my father or me?" Yang, showing both palms of his hands, asks, "Calm down, calm down. The fifth elder is the strongest expert in Floating Cloud City. How dare I offend him?" And she, irritated, asks, "What's going on then? Do you want little Z to travel on this so he can get the bride?" Yang explains, I have no intention of hiding, but today all the available horses in the clan had diarrhea. I also had no choice. Another one arrives asking, why all the commotion? Yang replies, Brother Yulong, what are you doing here? And Yulong replies, I was passing by. Anyway, what's going on? Yang with a smile deflects, nothing in particular. It's not worth bothering Brother Yulong. And the main character states, it's not a big deal. I heard the horses had a diarrhea problem. Riding a donkey is not a problem for me. And the little aunt questions, Little C, why are you siding with Xiaoyang? And Yulong comments, this really is a problem. And the main character argues, if it's to go meet my wife, this is not an obstacle. Brother Yulong, don't you think so too? Yulong looks at him and wishes, then I wish for the younger brother to be reunited with his wife as soon as possible. This older brother will not delay you any longer. And he turns around saying, let's go. The little aunt, irritated, questions, why didn't you tell Xiao Yulong the truth? It was obvious that Zhao Yang was making fun of you. The main character looks at her and retorts, they both plotted this together. Do you really think Xiao Yulong would do justice? And she, irritated, leaves saying, I'm going to tell your grandfather. This went too far. And the main character exclaims, no, I won't be able to get married if you cause a commotion. And she asks, can't get married? Would that be better? And the main character questions, little aunt, what are you talking about? And she, with a little smile, deflects, nothing. And the main character, placing his hand on the donkey, announces, then I'm going. She watches him leave, thinking, little Z, why? Today is little Z's big day. I should be happy. Tears appear in her eyes, and she asks herself, why am I crying? I should be smiling. The protagonist going thinks, if you weren't my little aunt. He continues forward, and Yulong is shown. Yang Gui comments, Brother Yulong. Yulong slaps him in the face, yelling, pathetic! Didn't you say that anyone who consumed the assassin's heart powder would definitely die? Why is Xiao Qi still alive? The boy fallen on the ground becomes pensive and, with a smile, says, I don't know what happened. He gets up and extends his hand, completing, it seems that Xiao Qi fainted, but suddenly he woke up again. Yulong, irritated, rants, and because of that, now I have to see Zhao Qingyue marry that useless loser. The young man opens his arms, reassuring him, don't worry, boss. During the trip to get the bride, there will be plenty of opportunities. For example, we can steal the bride by force. Irritated, Yulong curses him. Idiot! If it were that simple, would I have waited until now? Xiao Qi may be a good-for-nothing, but his grandfather is at the 10th level of the spiritual realm's depth. There's no one in the floating cloud city who can compete with him. He punches the wall, irritated, and completes. With that old man, who would have the courage to mess with Xiao Qi openly? The young man with a smile argues, boss, you don't really need to worry so much. Let's think about it from another angle. Zhao Qingyue is the #1 beauty in floating cloud city. Even if she accepts the marriage with his status, she would never allow him to touch a finger on her. The young man kneels and argues, even if you search all over floating cloud city, someone worthy of Zhao Qingyue must have talent and elegance. And that person is you, boss. Yulong, suspicious, asks, don't suck up, but keep talking. And the young man, darkly, suggests, Xiao Qi fetching the bride is not the same as fetching her for you. When you get to know each other better, with the advantages you have over him, cheating on Xiao Qi will be extremely easy. That way, Xiao Qi's wife will be the same as your wife, boss. After hearing this, Yufeng puts his hand on his chin and cracks a smile, confessing, hearing you, I feel quite excited. Maybe it was good that he wasn't killed by the poison. The scene shows the protagonist passing by the city people. Someone comments, no wonder this is the richest clan in Floating Cloud City. Just this red carpet must be tens of kilometers long. Someone watching asks, is that Xiao Qi? Did that guy really come riding a donkey? Others make fun, commenting, actually that fits his identity as a young master banana. The protagonist gives them a thumbs up and a mocking smile. Riding a donkey, I can fetch the most beautiful woman in Floating Cloud City as my bride. Why don't you try to get one? The guys get irritated and yell, Xiao Qi, you're a scum who doesn't possess deep strength in this loot. Besides being handsome and having a rich family, what else do you have over me? The protagonist extends his hand with a smile, mocking, oh, I'm so scared, and yells, Godzi, Erdan, is there anyone who wants to fight me? The guys get irritated, asking, who? What? Two crazy guys are shown coming at them. He yells, mess with the young master and see what happens. How dare you bother the young master? Go through me first. The guy looks at him completely frightened. The guy's breath goes over them and they yell, threatening, "You're going to pay for this, so you learn to never do anything like that again." Did you really think that we, the Godon brothers, are easy to deal with? The guys fall to the ground, starting to vomit. One of them raises his hand, pleading, "Brave warriors, please stop." The protagonist pouts and continues, mocking, "This young master has lived 2 lives. Do you really think I can't handle you?" The scene cuts back to further ahead, and the protagonist, getting off the little donkey, is startled by a yell. "Brother-in-law?" A guy grabs the protagonist, saying, "Brother-in-law! Today you finally officially became my brother-in-law." The protagonist, confused, asks, No, wait." The big guy hugs the protagonist. The protagonist, suffocated, asks, "Yuamba, let me go or your sister will be a widow." Zhao Yuamba, 15 years old with a smile on his face, apologizes, "I'm sorry, brother-in-law. I'm a little excited." The protagonist, wiping the sweat off his face, asks, "Don't get so excited. You know I can't handle your little body." Yuamba observes, "You've grown a lot." Yuamba, with a big smile on his face, comments, "Hey, instead, now I see my brother-in-law as a small bean sprout." The protagonist narrows his eyes, doubting, "Maybe that's not a good thing. You're only 15 years old." A maid comments, "Wow, look, is that Xiaoche? But why did he come riding a donkey all the way up here? No wonder he earned the reputation of young Master Banana." Yuamba, irritated, yells, "Don't say bad things about my brother-in-law." The protagonist extends his hand, reassuring him, "Don't worry, let them talk." Someone yells, "Don't be rude." Zhao Qingyue's father, Zhao Hongui, is shown, and they yell, "Master!" The protagonist greets him, saying, "Zhao Qi greets his father-in-law." The old man, putting his hand on the protagonist's shoulder, says, "Cha, from today onwards, I leave Qingyue in your hands. Although you are not exceptional, your father, my sworn brother, Xiao Ying, was a true hero. Because you are Xiao Ying's son, I believe that you will never be an ordinary man." The protagonist, with a serious look, calls him father-in-law. He turns around, recommending, "Treat my daughter well, and as for the gossip, ignore it." The protagonist exclaims, "I know I'm a cripple now, but someday the dragon sleeping in the valley will awaken. And at that moment, all the contempt and humiliation against me will disappear like smoke, or spread like the clouds." His father-in-law says, "Well, I think you'll have a good future." The scene shows Qingyu coming out, all charming. The protagonist approaches her and says, "Be careful." He holds her hand and says, "Come in." The maids, crying, comment, "Why did it have to be Xiaoche? Poor miss." The protagonist, feeling the ice in his hand, thinks, "It seems I still can't touch this wife." A guy watches the two and warns, "She's coming. Xiao Qingyue is coming." Another guy asks, "What will Miss Xiao Qingyue's face look like? I'm anxious." Another, with a smile, comments, "It would be nice to take a look." And another rebukes them, "Don't dream. Only the groom can be the first to look at the bride's face." The scene shows the old men gathered, and one of them instructs, "Second bow to the ancestors." They bow their heads, and the old man says, "Good." A guy in the corner, master of the Zhao clan, watches this thoughtfully, and someone announces, "Husband and wife, exchange bows." The two exchange bows, and one of the guys, gritting his teeth, complains, "There are so many disciples of the Xiao clan, but she preferred to marry a waste, a useless guy like that." Another, indignant, agrees, "I'm so angry. Obviously I'm stronger than Xiaoqi." And his aunt rebukes him, "It's a blessing that she's marrying little Xiaoche. It's not like you say." The other retorts, "Xiao Qingyue is an unparalleled genius. Can Xiaoqi be compared to her? The #1 beauty and the #1 useless. Both are #1. Thinking about it that way, they even match." She gets irritated. The scene shows the protagonist and the bride. A bald man stands up and congratulates, "Fifth elder, you've gained an excellent second-degree daughter-in-law. Congratulations." Another comments, "Xiaoche is really lucky." The fifth elder, "Thanks. Thank you for your appreciation. Have some wine at the banquet." And the bald old man says goodbye. "I have to go back and take care of my grandson. My presence has already been remarkable, and the wine is not necessary." The fifth elder becomes somber, and the other cracks a smile and says, "I also have something to do. I'll take my leave here." Another also withdraws. Hey, then I'll go too." And the old man yells, "Enough! At Che's wedding, you don't even drink a glass of wedding wine? You're being disrespectful to me." The bald old man stares at the other old man and yells, "Think carefully, Zhao Li. After you die, who will take care of your useless grandson? Will it be the Zhao clan?" The old man is startled by this, and the protagonist gets irritated. The old woman arrives, calming everyone down. Calm down. The bride and groom will go to the bridal chamber first. The protagonist enters the room and she comments, your grandfather being bullied was very difficult for you, right? The protagonist becomes pensive and, with a smile, says, first, remove this crown. It seems a little heavy. You're my wife after all, but don't hurt your neck. She takes it off and looks at the protagonist. Blushing, he says, truly your reputation precedes you. And she comments, your emotional transformation is quite rapid. It seems the rumors about you being a weakling are lies. It appears you are handling all these humiliations quite well. And the protagonist, with a smile, says, my damaged vein is a fact. I am destined to belong to the weak. Is there any difference between enduring all this or not? She quickly lunges at him and he is startled, being struck in the chest. He yells, what? The crystal on the protagonist's chest cracks and she states, you weren't born with the profound damaged veins. In truth, they were destroyed. The protagonist exclaims, what did you say? And she continues, the most probable thing is that they were severely damaged when you were younger, and no one noticed in time. And at this point, there's no possibility of restoration. The protagonist becomes pensive, and picking up a crystal, he says, this might not necessarily be true. Regarding this, if I'm not mistaken, within the floating cloud city, there's no ice technique. And she interrupts him. Art of the frozen cloud. The protagonist exclaims, frozen cloud of Asgard? One of the 4 main sects within the Blue Wind Empire? And she closes her eyes, adding, until now only my father knew about this. And since now, at least on paper, you are my husband, there's no problem in telling you. Back then, to save my life, Uncle Xiao suffered severe damage to the point where he couldn't defend himself when he was attacked. The protagonist comments, my father, he... And she interrupts him again. Although it was to repay your kindness, I don't regret marrying you. However, we can't continue our marriage. The protagonist becomes pensive, and she continues, don't misunderstand me. I never looked down on you. A mist of icy fog appears in the room, and she says, those who wish to practice the art of the frozen clouds must first practice the frozen heart. The frozen cloud sect of Asgard only accepts women. They must be pure, never contaminated by feelings. Despite having married you, I won't fall in love with anyone in this life. The protagonist observes, and someone yells, young master, it's time for a toast. She looks at the protagonist and advises, you should go. The protagonist quickly leaves, saying, then I will. The scene shows a woman appearing. She is from the frozen cloud sect of Asgard, Chu Yueli. Chu Yueli says, Qing Yue, did you do what you desired? It's time to return to the frozen cloud sect of Asgard. And she requests, I ask that you give me a month. If I leave right after the wedding, he will suffer endless trials, master. And the master replies, very well. An exception was already made for you to get married. Extending it for another month won't be a problem either. And she thanks her. Thank you, master. By the way, is it truly impossible to restore his profound veins? And she answers, Qing Yue, you are a kind, compassionate person, and you have a grateful heart. That's very good. However, the master cannot help you this time. The protagonist returns to the wedding hall and says, great elders, please drink. The bald man takes the cup and makes a sound of disgust. The protagonist gets irritated. The other man spits and declares, a delicate flower was placed on top of shit. The protagonist gets even more irritated and thinks, I'm giving them face, and these old geezers didn't know how to accept it. If I hadn't used all the power of the heaven's poison pearl in my previous life, I would have poisoned you all tonight. A wine pot slams on the table, and Yu Feng arrives saying, younger brother, have a drink with this older brother. And the protagonist retorts, but I'm not good with alcohol. And the other man places his hand on the protagonist's chest, arguing, we are giving you face, and you refuse? Let's drink. The protagonist, looking at the symbol on the man's hand, laughs to himself and replies, then I shall accompany my older brothers. And Yu Feng laughs and adds, we won't stop until we're all drunk. The scene shows everyone passed out, drunk. And the protagonist leaves, making a noise and thinking, with all the internal space of the heaven's poison pearl, even the clan's mansion could fit inside, and they still dare to try and get me drunk? The protagonist looks around and thinks, I'll get rid of the wine first. The protagonist starts pouring the wine out. The maids are startled by this, and one of them asks, what is the young master doing? The other one replies, he's urinating anywhere. This is terrible. And the protagonist cracks a smile, thinking, it would be a bit boring to go back like this. I'll give my wife Qing Yue a little surprise. I'll put on a bit of a wine smell and pretend to be drunk. The maids observe and comment, wow, is he washing his face with urine? Even if he's drunk, he shouldn't do that. And the other one agrees. How disgusting. Let's leave. And the protagonist enters all red-faced, saying, Wife Qingyue, I'm drunk, I want a hug. He gets kicked and sent flying away. The door closes and the protagonist, holding his head, complains, What a heavy blow! Do you want to kill your husband? And he yells, Open the door. It was just a joke. You can't leave me outside the room on our wedding night. The others will make fun of me. She becomes pensive, and the protagonist approaches the door, continuing, And besides, I'm your husband. Can you bear to see other people making fun of me? The door opens and the protagonist enters, laughing, and invites her, Wife Qingyue, shall we go to bed? And she replies, You are not allowed to be within 5 steps of me. Also, you are not allowed to call me wife. And the protagonist inquires, Then where will I sleep? And she determines, You will sleep on the bed, and I will sleep on the floor. The protagonist protests, How can a man let his wife sleep in such a place? And she points, deciding, Then you will sleep there. And the protagonist thinks, Is she really going to make me sleep on the floor? And with a smile he says, Wife Qingyue, you seem to hate me a little. Actually, I'm not drunk, I was just joking. And she affirms, I know, and never call me wife again. And the protagonist argues, I sought you out, and you accepted. We even paid respects to the ancestors. Am I wrong to call you my wife? And she narrows her eyes, declaring, I hate people who urinate anywhere. And the protagonist justifies himself. Urinate? I was just pouring out the wine. And she reveals, I was also joking. The protagonist briefly becomes pensive and irritated. He leaves, saying, I married a wife who refuses to share a bed with me. Is the hard floor a place where people usually sleep? What a rage. If this young master had the strength to defeat you, I would have already pushed you onto the bed. And he thinks, How can I restore my own strength? Profound veins. I can't stay like this for the rest of my life. The protagonist is startled and, using the pearl, he wonders, Could this be it? He stops, thinking, In my previous life, when I was on the Azure Cloud continent, the pearl only glowed 6 times. Every time it glowed, it meant there was a rare treasure nearby. In the backyard, the protagonist observes the place and mutters, Strange. I certainly followed the direction of the heaven's poison pearl. How can there be nothing here? He becomes pensive and places his hand on a plant which is revealed. Startled, he exclaims, An illusion in the form of concealment? It receives light to be revealed. My God, hidden star herb. And there are 2. In my last life, when I lived for 24 years, I only managed to find 1. He observes his surroundings, pondering, These are treasures that can be used to kill people or to plot against someone. With them, I can do whatever I want. I must avoid being seen by others. Well, I'll store them in the heaven's poison pearl. He uses his power to store them. Suddenly, he gets startled. What is that? He gets closer and thinks, Could it be another treasure? But the heaven's poison pearl didn't react. It seems to be a person. She's lying on the grass without moving. Is she unconscious, or is she dead? It's a girl. He is startled, murmuring, A girl! He becomes pensive and asks, Little girl, what happened to you? He squeezes her and pinches her cheek. His hand becomes filled with poison, and he exclaims, Poison! He starts yelling, but the pearl starts taking effect, and he thinks, Holy heavens! What a terrifying poison! After using the pearl, the poison disappears, and he observes her, gritting his teeth and thinking, It's a good thing the heaven's poison pearl can neutralize any poison. Otherwise, I would be dead right now. But who is this little girl? Why was she poisoned with such a horrible poison? Just now, if the heaven's poison pearl had been a little slower, I would have died. She holds the protagonist's hand and whispers, Sky poison pearl. The protagonist is surprised, exclaiming, You know the sky poison pearl? She bites his finger and he yells, Little girl, no! She starts to draw blood and the protagonist begs, No, no, my blood! After taking some of the protagonist's blood, she disappears. And he murmurs, Huh? Gone? No, she's inside the sky poison pearl. He enters the pearl's space and approaches the little girl. Watching her, he thinks, She is purifying the poison from her body. But the sky poison pearl has already fused with my body. How can she do this arbitrarily? Was it because she sucked my blood? The protagonist turns red with a smile on his face and extends his hand, saying, Anyway, since you are living inside my body, wouldn't it be too much to charge rent? Just pay me with your body. The protagonist holds his own hand, exclaiming, No, she's a a little girl. How can I do something so despicable? And he thinks, At the very least, I should wait another 2 years. Outside, The protagonist, holding his own arm, states, "That's right. The fact that I don't want to touch her has nothing to do with her identity." Someone questions, "Little Che, who are you going to touch?" The protagonist looks back and answers, "No, I don't intend to touch anyone." His little aunt asks, "What are you doing alone in the mountains in the middle of the night?" And the protagonist justifies, "I couldn't sleep, so I went out to look at the stars." And he thinks, "Well, I couldn't say that my wife didn't let me sleep in the same bed with her, and that's why I left. That would be embarrassing." And the little ant warns, "Is it too dangerous to stay here if there are bandits around?" The protagonist, with a smile, comments, "No wonder you're not sleeping at this hour of the night. It turns out my little ant was worried about me." And she, surprised, retorts, "No, it's not like that. I also went out to look at the stars." And she thinks, "You just got married. How could I sleep, idiot?" And the protagonist, extending his hand to her, invites, "In that case, let's look at the stars together." The two sit under a tree and the protagonist observes. Speaking of which, it's been months since we looked at the stars together under the moonlight. And she recalls, "Yes, I still remember that winter night. That time, we watched the stars for a long time and, without realizing it, we fell asleep. We didn't expect it to start snowing during the night. The next day, we were found like two little snowmen. Your grandfather was very scared." She laughs, remembering. "Later, we recovered after staying by the fire for 2 days." And the protagonist adds, "Yes, we also drank a very bitter medicinal soup." The protagonist whispers, "Little aunt." He gets close to her face, and she puts her hand in front, stating, "Little Chi, you can't kiss me like you did when we were kids. We've grown up. You're already married." And the protagonist thinks, "I'm married, but King Yui and I are only married in appearance." And he declares, "But I really want to kiss you. What should I do?" And she replies, "Then you have to marry me." The protagonist, with a smile, confesses, "If you weren't my little aunt, I would definitely marry you." She blushes upon hearing this. The protagonist is a little confused and she shakes her head. The protagonist asks, "Little aunt, what are you looking at?" And she retorts, "You're already married. If King Yui hears what you said." And the protagonist exclaims, "I'm not afraid to say I want to marry you. Even if King Yui is here, I'll still say it. You also know that I didn't really want to marry her." And the little ant whispers, "Little Chi, I know how you feel. Don't say that again. I'm still your little ant, right?" He opens his mouth and smiles, placing his hand on her shoulder as she says, "Knowing how you feel is enough for me." Later, the scene shows King Yui watching the two. She goes back to the room, grabs a blanket, and covers them. Earlier, the protagonist wakes up and thinks, "Huh? A blanket? Damn. Isn't that our blanket that was on my bed? Don't tell me that on my wedding night, not only did I spend the night sleeping with another woman, but my wife also personally brought me a blanket? That's somehow very exciting." The scene shifts to the Shi clan. A guy arrives yelling, "Clan leader, something big has come up." The clan leader asks, "It's still early. What happened?" The guy delivers, stating, "It's the Zhao sect, a letter from the Zhao sect." Stunned, the clan master questions, "Zhao sect?" and yells, "Go inform the elders and deacons to go to the meeting hall immediately." The scene shows the protagonist entering. He makes a noise and his bride comments, hiding behind the door, "Could it be that because you had such a comfortable sleep last night, you didn't dare to come back?" The protagonist argues, "Well, let's just say it wasn't that comfortable." And he thinks, "How comfortable? Try sleeping sitting down to see if it's comfortable." The protagonist is surprised and holding her hand says, "Qing Yu," and she yells, "Xiao Qi, you..." The protagonist interrupts, "Call me husband, quick. I'll be here." The old man speaks, "Sai, you woke up early." And he wishes, "Good morning, Grandpa." She adds, "Qing Yu and her husband wish Grandpa a good morning." The old man observes, "Seeing you two getting along so well, I feel relieved." The protagonist laughs and she thinks, "This guy definitely did that on purpose." A yell echoes, "Fifth elder, please, by order of the leader, go to the main hall immediately. There are important events to discuss." The old man warns, "It seems like something urgent, and I'll go first." The protagonist, with a smile, asks, "Be careful, Grandpa." And with sweat on his face, he thinks, "Why am I feeling a murderous aura?" He jumps away from her and justifies, "Qing Yu, my wife, I only held your hand to make my grandfather happy. There's no other meaning to it." And she warns, "Next time you dare to touch my body, I certainly won't be gentle." The protagonist exclaims, "Hey, you're exaggerating. I only held your hands." Not to mention that we're officially married. Not only do I have the right to hold your hands, but I can touch anywhere else. And it would be normal. She angrily retorts, "You still wanted to touch somewhere else?" The protagonist confirms, "Of course, if there's no physical communication between us, we'll have spiritual friction." An aura appears, and he observes, "Wait a minute, why am I feeling a little cold?" Her aura explodes, and the protagonist, dumbfounded, backs away. She becomes somber, and the protagonist yells, "No touching! I won't touch anywhere! I was kidding!" The scene shifts to a meeting. The clanmaster states, "This is the case. Everyone already knows what to do with the younger generation." The bald elder laughs and speaks, "On my part, there's no problem. I'm sure I'll make the most of this rare opportunity." The other comments, "Well, someone's grandson isn't prepared. I'm afraid there's no chance this time." The protagonist's grandfather becomes pensive. The scene shows some people training. A guy punches a tree and the others continue to train. After the punch, the guy wipes his sweat thinking, "A workout can be very refreshing from time to time." The protagonist observes, saying, "Why are they so dedicated today? These guys used to be lazier than each other." Someone exclaims, "Honorable sir, you are like the starlight in the dark night, illuminating my world and igniting my life. My lord, you are too handsome, so much so that I would be willing to do anything for you." The protagonist watches this, completely scared, while the guy thinks, "In the art of flattery, I am the best. No one in the Xiao clan can match me. This opportunity will definitely be mine." And the protagonist thinks, "Is this guy practicing flattery? How disgusting." After all, what the hell is going on here? Why is everyone acting so strange? The protagonist's grandfather arrives and the protagonist asks, "Grandpa, what's going on? You don't look very happy." And he reveals, "A big event. This is a big event for the Xiao clan. A letter came from the Xiao sect saying they will send some men here in a few days." And the protagonist exclaims, "The Xiao sect will send people to this small Xiao clan? Are they crazy? Compared to the Xiao sect, we are, at best, a noble relative. Who would care? Why did they suddenly send people here?" And his grandfather explains, "There's something you don't know, but the founder of the Xiao clan, Xiao Biele, was the son of Xiao Zheng, an elder of the legislative control department of the Xiao sect. Xiao Biele had been expelled from the Xiao sect. Now that Xiao Zheng has died before his departure, he remembered his son and felt remorse. So, he left an oral testament to give the Xiao clan a spot to enter the Xiao sect. The old man sighs and says, "Of course, the one who will enter the Xiao sect will certainly be from the younger generation, with the greatest talents in the clan. So it has nothing to do with us." And the protagonist comments, "It's no wonder these guys are killing themselves training. Besides, they even trained in flattery, so it was all for this opportunity." And his grandfather says, "Little Z, don't feel bad. Even if you let the opportunity pass, it's also not a big deal." And the protagonist says with a smile, "There's no reason for me to feel bad, Grandpa. You haven't had breakfast, right? Well, let's have breakfast. I'm going to take the opportunity to take some to my little aunt in Qingyu." The old man replies, "Yes." Another watches, laughing, and goes towards a room saying, "Older brother Xiao Xi and Xiao Li left. Apparently they're going to the east courtyard. This is a good opportunity. Xiao Qingyu is definitely alone now. Older brother." The older brother cuts him off, laughing, and says, "I know what I have to do." The scene shifts back to Xiao Qingyu. Someone comments, "It's no wonder she's the #1 beauty in Floating Cloud City. Even meditating, she's so charming." And Feng, making a gesture, says, "Miss Xiao, I don't know if you—" And she interrupts him, saying, "Xiao Xi is not with me. Turn around and leave." And he, irritated, says, "That's unfortunate, but being able to meet Miss Xiao means I didn't come for nothing." And she replies, "I'm cultivating. Forgive me for not being able to receive you." And he, irritated, thinks, "This woman doesn't even give me face. It seems I'll have to be a little rude." He prepares to attack her, saying, "I heard that Miss Xia, at 16 years old, is at the 10th level of the profound elemental realm, and Long has always admired her." He extends his hand towards her, saying, "How about we spar a little?" She extends her hand, and the guy, drooling, thinks, "What a beautiful jade hand. I wonder how it feels to touch it." Her hand passes right through his, reaching close to his face, and he thinks, "So fast." And then he receives a slap to the face, falling down and losing 2 teeth. And she, watching him, says, "It seems that young Master Xiao is not very good at fighting. Go away." He, toothless and all messed up, asks, "What happened?" I'm at the third level of the nascent profound realm. I'm one realm above Qingyu. Even if I hadn't used all my strength, I wouldn't have lost either. Did she hide her power? At only 16 years old, she reached level 10 of the profound elemental realm? This has already broken all the records of Floating Cloud City. It's impossible that she's even stronger than that. And she questions, what is it? Does it seem that the great young master Xiao Yulong is not satisfied? And the guy, with a smile on his face, affirms, before, I was just testing, so I didn't use all my strength. This time, I'll go all out. An aura appears around him, and he exclaims, Miss Shi, pay close attention to this. He charges towards her with everything he has, and she extends her hand with blue energy and slaps him again, throwing him away and ordering, the fight is over, go away. He becomes pensive, spits blood, yells, and thinks, this woman is definitely hiding her power. The protagonist, carrying a bucket, arrives and asks, I wonder if my wife Qingyu likes stuffed rolls. Anyway, my little aunt really likes them. He is startled and greets him, asking, if it isn't Brother Yulong, it's only been a few days since I last saw you, Brother Yulong. What happened? Deformities suddenly appear on his face. Yulong points and exclaims, you! And the protagonist yells, my God, no deformities appeared at all. This was clearly a beating. Tell me who did this? Such brutality. And he leaves, making a gesture and affirming, training. I fell while training, don't worry. And the protagonist says, well, then Brother Yulong must have pushed himself hard. Yulong leaves, and the protagonist waves goodbye, saying, I won't bother you anymore, go slowly. And he thinks, keep pretending. It's obvious you were bothering my wife. Not even I have the courage to touch my wife. And you think you can? The protagonist greets her, saying, Qingyu, my wife, I brought you breakfast. And she says, Xiao Yulong was here. And the protagonist replies, I know. I ran into him a moment ago. Qingyue, my wife, can I ask you a question? She gets a little confused, and the protagonist, with a serious look, asks, after all, what level is your profound strength at? She narrows her eyes without answering. The protagonist circles her, thinking, and stares at her closely. She, irritated, asks, why are you staring at me? And the protagonist, with a smile on his face, replies, waiting for you to answer me. Communication between husband and wife is very important regardless of the mind or body. And she retorts, mind and what? The protagonist says, nothing. And he thinks, I'm sure I didn't marry a wife, but a block of ice that hits people. He coughs a little and says, Qingyu, my wife, actually, I have something important to ask you. Do you wake up from dreams every day at 3 a.m? And besides that, for 30 minutes, your whole body freezes and your 4 limbs hurt? She, confused, asks, how do you know that? And the protagonist, a little flushed, finishes, and one last thing. He, scared, stammers and asks, has your period been late for 7 or 8 days? After saying that, the protagonist runs off and hides behind a tree. Qingyue watches this thoughtfully and, a little confused, asks, can you tell me what you're doing? And the protagonist behind the tree replies, I'm afraid you'll kill me. And she says, don't be so dramatic. At most, I'll break your legs. And he exclaims, don't joke with such a serious face. Just now, you really beat up Xiao Yulong badly. It was very scary. She closes her eyes, saying, come closer, I won't beat you up. After all, everything you said before is correct. However, how did you know that? And the protagonist declares, by your pulse. And she inquires, the pulse? And the protagonist points to himself with a smile, saying, can't you guess, right? I'll tell you then. The truth is, I'm a god in medicine. She, in disbelief, retorts, but I don't remember letting you take my pulse like you did. And the protagonist, with a smile, confesses, it was just now. I took the opportunity when Grandpa was coming and touched your hand. And she exclaims, so at that time, you did that on purpose? The protagonist, with a little smile, replies, no, don't worry about the little details. And thinks, I accidentally let it slip. And she states, since you like touching hands and taking pulses, go look for your little aunt. And the protagonist exclaims, I'm not kidding with you. This thing of yours is a very serious illness, and the problem is with your sect. That is, the secret art of the frozen cloud of Asgard that you cultivate. And she, enraged, yells, shut up! An aura of ice emerges, and she puts her hand on the protagonist's neck, yelling, if you continue to say words like that, I will not be kind to you. And the protagonist provokes, oh, really? And if I keep talking? She gets irritated, and the protagonist smiles, saying, I can tolerate your usual rejection of me. but I will not allow my wife to live a third less than normal people because of her illness. She is astonished, and the protagonist explains, in general, the stronger the profound strength, the longer the lifespan. But according to my diagnosis, among those with the same level of profound strength, you of the frozen cloud of Asgard have a life expectancy reduced by at least a third. And that happens because of the cultivation of the frozen cloud of Asgard. What I said is correct or not? She removes her hand from the protagonist's neck, confirming, what you said is correct. So? He gives a thumbs up and, with a smile on his face, suggests, so go back to the room and sit with your husband for some adjustments to you personally. And she, irritated, exclaims, I really want to hit you. The scene returns to the room. The protagonist picks up a small box and she argues, this involves important issues. I don't believe what you said. And the protagonist counters, what I said is a secret related to the survival of the frozen cloud of Asgard fairies. And of course, almost no one knows. And she questions, so how do you intend to adjust my profound strength? And the protagonist shows the needles, replying, with this. And she, surprised, observes, silver needles? And thinks, acupuncture is extremely demanding in mastery. It requires at least 10 years to obtain basic mastery and tens of years for complete mastery. He's clearly only 16 years old, and yet his handling is so natural and skillful. Acupuncture is extremely demanding in mastery. It requires at least 10 years to obtain basic mastery and tens of years for complete mastery. It's like he really is the god of medicine. The protagonist says, Qingyue, my wife, instead of my face, I think you should pay more attention to your pulse. She is startled, looking at the needle on her wrist, and thinks, I just got distracted for a moment, and, even so, I didn't notice. Wasn't he an ordinary person with damaged deep veins? The protagonist instructs, relax your hands, breathe steadily, and don't use your profound strength. The protagonist continues to add needles, and she, observing, asks, but what the hell is this? A mist of ice begins to come out of the needles, and she thinks, suddenly my hands feel much lighter. And the protagonist comments, the congested cold energy has been released. Of course, it's much more comfortable for you. It's a shame you won't let me make deeper adjustments. Otherwise, I can allow the speed of your cultivation of the frozen cloud of Asgard arts to be increased by 30%. She exclaims, 30%? Impossible! If you really have this ability, you will undoubtedly cause chaos in the world. And the protagonist, with a smile, retorts, true or not, you'll find out if we test it, right? Why are you believing me now? And he holds out his hand, asking, Qingyue, my wife, please take off your clothes. The protagonist appears with a bump on his head, and she exclaims, what did you say? Say it again. I didn't hear you right. The protagonist replies, I didn't say to take it all off. Did you really need to bathe? And she continues, in short, your medical skill is real. It's hard to imagine that at your age, you possess such extraordinary skill in medicinal techniques. The protagonist states, it was all thanks to my master. He reminisces, recounting, my master was a great doctor who saved countless lives, and I met him when I was still very young. He sighs and laments, forget it. Why talk about it? Well, about the deeper adjustments I mentioned a little while ago, it was just to show your back. And she questions, are you sure you can allow me to permanently increase my cultivation speed by 30%? The protagonist smiles, assuring, absolutely certain, and thinks, within the continent, power means respect. There is no one who can resist this temptation. And she, turning around, confesses, let me see your mysterious medical skills. The protagonist stands behind her, thoughtful, and she, blushing, asks, do I really have to undress? The protagonist points, ordering, take off your clothes. And she, blushing, makes a small sound, taking off the top of her clothes, and yells, start immediately and don't think anything wrong. Otherwise, you'll know the consequences. The protagonist, upon hearing this, thinks, isn't a woman's body meant for her husband to see? Being so unwilling, it's like I'm forcing a decent woman into prostitution. But on the other hand, my wife's skin is very white. What would it be like to touch her? No, you have to get rid of the distractions. The protagonist becomes completely focused and takes the needle, energizing it and adding it to her back. He continues to add one needle after another, and she, blushing, thinks, my back only feels the touch of the needle tips. This guy who has a habit of using indecent words but now didn't take the chance to touch my body is actually a noble man. She thinks, is he pretending to be lewd? But he gains nothing by doing that. It's really hard to read this person. What is the real him? The protagonist moves a needle and she exclaims, profound strength, Xiao Che, you? And the protagonist exclaims, don't move. And she exclaims, "But your profound strength was already very pitiful because it was so little. Using it in this way, it will be too much wear and tear on your body." And the protagonist assures, "It's okay, I can still take it." He continues to charge the energy into the needle and add it to her body and thinks, "It's not just my profound strength, but also the purifying power of the pearl. The 30th needle. Damn, I didn't expect that recanalizing the profound would be so draining. Pretending to be strong, even holding back tears, I need to pretend until the end." And she observes, thinking. Her movements have become much slower. The protagonist, all sweaty, thinks, "There are still 24 needles. I need to endure." A period later, the protagonist is shown sighing and saying, "I didn't fool you." A power arises in her body and she, looking at her own hands, thinks, "My profound strength is flowing incomparably well. He really did it. Even if my master doesn't see it now, at this moment, she will be absolutely surprised." And she says, "I didn't expect you, who is despised by everyone, to have such an amazing ability. You know, I'm leaving in a month. So why did you do so much for me, and with such dedication?" The protagonist smiles, saying, "For 3 reasons. First, almost everyone despises me, but you don't. On the contrary, you have always protected my pathetic dignity. Last night, when you came looking for me because you were worried about me, and even brought me a blanket. Those who treat me well, I will treat them even better. Second, at the end of the day, you are my wife. And the third is also the most important. It's because I think your appearance without clothes should be great too." The scene cuts to his grandfather, looking at the grave of his own son. Sadly, he murmurs, "Inger, something happened recently in the Xiao clan. The Xiao sect finally sent someone. The chance to revive the Xiao clan has arrived. However, you are no longer here to see it. Xiao Shi started a family. Although he is not your real son, it was the life for which you used yours and your own sons to preserve. That is why I will also do everything I can to keep him safe." He exclaims, "Who is it?" And Long lowers his head, replying, "Greeting the 5th elder. I didn't know the 5th elder was here. And did Long bother you?" The old man disappears. Long is startled, questioning, "Where did he go?" The old man appears behind him darkly, inquiring, "Long, did you hear anything just now?" He yells, "Long has just arrived. Was the 5th elder saying anything?" And thinks, "What a terrifying murderous aura." And the old man asks, "What are you doing here?" Long exclaims, "Since the messenger arrives tomorrow, Long wants to tell this good news to the deceased great-grandfather." And the old man comments, "I understand. The messenger from the Xiao sect will arrive tomorrow. You are the one who has the best chance of being selected." He turns and affirms, "Then you will be the greatest hope to reactivate our clan." Long lowers his head, confessing, "The 5th elder's words are comforting, but I fear I am not worthy." And clenching his fist, he thinks, "This old man, he was very insightful. I almost gave my life away here and now. Anyway, Xiao Shi is not Xiao Ying's real son. I didn't expect it. This is really very interesting." The scene cuts to the bald old man yelling, come on, there is still not ready. Hurry up, clean up. If we make the messenger uncomfortable, I'll kill you." He looks at the ugly girls and orders, "And those maids? The pretty ones stay in front, and the ugly ones stay hidden. If you pollute the messenger of the Xiao sect's eyes, I'll send you to the brothel." Someone yells, "Hurry up," and the protagonist gets up, annoyed, questioning, "Who is it? It's still early. Are you going to let people sleep or not?" The protagonist is startled and says, "I feel something a little soft in my hand, and a little cold too." He looks to the side and King Yue grabs his arm and slaps him in the face. He asks, "King Yue, my wife, we've been husband and wife for a long time. I just touched it for a moment." "You didn't need to do that, did you?" And she snaps, "Last night I let you sleep in bed with me because you were half dead from exhaustion. But I didn't let you touch me. Dare to have a next time and Xiao Long will be your example." The protagonist with a swollen cheek exclaims, "No! What Xiaolong did was flirt with someone else's wife, but what I did was touch my own wife. Now how am I going to see the guest with this slap mark?" She touches the protagonist's cheek, freezing it, and offers, "I can help you with the swelling." Sweating, the protagonist says, "Then I should still thank you." And she replies, "You're welcome." The protagonist is thoughtful about this, and she gets up, commenting, "By the way, today I will not go to the messenger of the Zhao sect's welcome ceremony." And the protagonist asks, "Why? Don't you want to meet the messenger everyone's talking about so much?" And she replies, "I don't want to." And he, with a little smile, teases, Even the clan chief wants to lick the messenger's shoe. But are you too lazy to go? No wonder the disciple of the frozen cloud of Asgard, very stubborn. And she, looking at him, reveals, I heard the master say that the man sent by the Xiao sect is Xiao Guangyun. His cultivation is quite common, but he is a man leaning on his Xiao sect backing. He does all sorts of atrocities. You must be very careful. And the protagonist replies, well, I'll keep that in mind, and thinks, my wife, King Yue, is still worried about me. The scene shows the disciples lined up. One of them exclaims, we've been waiting here for 5 periods and he doesn't show up. He has no consideration at all. Another yells, that's right, they think they're sovereign now. Another comments, speaking of which, compared to our Xiao clan, he really is a sovereign. One of them warns, the messenger of the Xiao sect is here, and the clan master orders, quick, let's receive him. The scene shows some colorful horses and a carriage. A guy with 2 women appears on the scene. The staff observes, and one of them comments, wow, I'm envious. No wonder he's the messenger of the Xiao sect. Wherever he goes, there are always beautiful women serving him. Another says, it would be nice if one day I had that too. And the sect master exclaims, Xiao Yunhai, welcome the messenger of the Xiao sect. The guy, now inside the clan, comments, if it weren't for Elder Xiao Zheng's death, I wouldn't know there was a place like this. A place where not even the birds shit. The clan master lowers his head, agreeing, that's right, it's true. And the messenger continues, but the dead are important, and that's why I came here, to fulfill the elder's will. He gets angry about something and slaps the woman. The staff are a bit confused by this, and the messenger, irritated, yells, didn't you hear me talking about sad things? So don't pinch me, get out of here. The protagonist watches this thoughtfully, and a guy ponders, how exaggerated. Another thinks, that's right, what did she do wrong to get hit? Damn it. And the messenger continues, does anyone have a problem with that? And the staff, with smiles on their faces, exclaim, that slap was the best. Such an action is a great example for the younger generation. This is mainly because the force applied was very fair. And the guy points to the clan master, ordering, tomorrow morning gather all the people of your clan in the courtyard. No one can be absent. I will select one person to take back to the Xiao sect. And the staff, mouths agape, think, the rumor was true. Just enter the Xiao sect to have a bright future. Even if you enter as a servant. You don't even have to be a servant. Even if I came in as a dog licking shoes, I would accept. And the protagonist observes, the people of this clan have no salvation. And the guy continues, since we've come, it's obvious that there will be no shortage of gifts. The clan master takes the box and the guy explains, inside here is the deep recanalization powder. It can increase the speed of cultivation for a certain amount of time. And the guy exclaims, deep recanalization powder? The disciples think, it's the legendary medicine, deep recanalization powder. No wonder they are from the Xiao sect, so generous. This item will definitely be included in the treasure pavilion. And the messenger watches, amused. A bunch of idiots who haven't seen the world out there. And says, by the way, for the deep veins that have been damaged for any reason, the deep recanalization powder also has an excellent restorative effect. The protagonist's grandfather is startled by this and thinks, if I can get the deep recanalization powder, Zur has had his deep veins damaged since he was little, so he has suffered all kinds of humiliation. The clan master intervenes. It wasn't easy for young Master Xiao to come here. Long, guide the gentleman to stroll around a bit. And Long replies, yes, father. He follows the guy and comments, young Master Xiao, although the floating cloud is small, it has almost everything you need, especially charming women. And the messenger exclaims indignantly, charming women for what? Do I look like that kind of person to you? And Yulong explains, Master Xiao is full of honest energy. Of course it doesn't look like it. He makes a noise of disgust and Yulong thinks, is your heart unaware of the kind of person you are? The guy blushes and Yulong continues, young Master Xiao, what is? He observes Jia Qingyu and asks, who is that girl? I didn't know there was such a charming woman in the world. And Yulong replies, her name is Jia Qingyu, and 3 days ago she married a member of our Xiao clan who, in reality, is trash with damaged deep veins. And the guy exclaims incredulously, what did you say? A charming woman like that married trash? And Yulong thinks, I didn't expect him to be interested in Xia Qingyu, but the only person worthy of being with her is me. And the guy exclaims indignantly, a woman like that should belong only to me. A guard gets angry and warns him, young master, The sect leader specifically warned you not to steal the wife and daughter of others because that would diminish the reputation of our sect. And the guy grits his teeth, muttering, inadmissible. And Yulong watches this thinking. The fact that this person appeared here without making any noise means that, without a doubt, he is a high-level specialist. Furthermore, it is likely that he is even stronger than Zhao Li. Is even a simple follower so powerful? Zhao sect is, as the rumors say. I have to think about the future. As long as I can enter the Zhao sect, sacrificing Jia Qingyu will be worth it too. He extends his hand and proposes, Young Master Xiao, I have a plan for you to have Jia Qingyu without resorting to violence. And the guy asks hopefully, Oh, do you really have a plan? And he, with a smile, explains, Not only that. In our Xiao clan, there is also another young woman who is no less beautiful than Jia Qingyu. And the guy asks curiously, A young woman who is on the same level as Jia Qingyu? Who is she? And Yulong replies, The daughter of the fifth elder of the Xiao clan, Xiao Linqi. As for her, it will be much easier to get her. Young Master Xiao just has to want me to guarantee I'll get her for you. The scene cuts to the little aunt and she comments, Dad, have you seen the new people from the Xiao sect? Are they very powerful? And the old man replies, They are truly unfathomable. However, try not to leave the house too much. That Xiao Guangyun who is in charge is not a good thing. And she asks, Dad, you seem bothered. Is it because of that Xiao Guangyun? And the old man clarifies, The representatives of the Xiao sect brought a gift called deep recanalization powder. They say it has a great repairing effect for damaged deep veins. And she exclaims, Really? Can it repair deep veins? Seriously? And the old man ponders, It's hard to say if it has that effect, but the clan chief sees this deep recanalization powder as a treasure of great importance. So I definitely wouldn't dare use it on T. And she exclaims, How can he do this? Obviously, little T is the one who needs this powder the most. And the old man argues, Ultimately, the decision is his, and T has no talent whatsoever. She hangs her head, muttering, Nonsense, little T is not like that. After that, she changes clothes and stealthily goes to the place that is guarded, and someone appears behind her. She is startled and lets out a dad, and he, with narrowed eyes, scolds her. You were going to steal the recanalization powder, right? And she tries to explain, Dad, And he cuts her off, yelling, How dare you? Do you know how dangerous this is? The recanalization powder is a gift from the Xiao sect. If discovered, the Xiao sect will punish you. No one in the entire floating cloud city will be able to save you. And she argues, I know that, but little T's condition is deplorable. Having his deep veins damaged makes him despised by everyone. He has a good heart, so why? And she exclaims, Every time I see him interfering for little T, you have no idea how hard it is for me. As long as little T's deep veins are repaired, even if I act like a thief and get punished for it, I'll still be willing. The old man is moved by this and scratching her head consoles her. I know what you think, but if something happens to you in the future, who will take care of little T? And she is startled thinking, It's true. If I don't succeed and I get caught, what will become of little T? And the old man with a smile assures, I will do my best to get the deep recanalization powder, so go back to your room and rest. She, sadly, apologizes. I'm sorry, Dad. I did something stupid. I promise you I won't try to steal the recanalization powder again. The scene cuts to the next day. The protagonist questions, Qingyu, my wife, what happened to the matter we discussed last night? And she replies, What matter did we discuss last night? And the protagonist exclaims, Don't play! How can you forget something so important? His aunt arrives calling, Little T, come on, we're here. And the protagonist speaks, Oh, little aunt. He greets her by saying, Hello, Grandpa. And Qingyu greets him, Greet Grandpa. The old man strokes his beard, saying, Well, and the clan master yells, Silence! Everyone in position! Now we will ask the messenger from the Xiao sect to give us a few words. And the messenger begins. Apparently, everyone is here. I believe you all already know why I have come here and also my identity. You should be aware that for me to stoop and come to this small place is an honor for you. Since the founder of the Xiao clan, before our Xiao sect, is nothing more than an insignificant worm. The people are startled, and the clan master extends his hand with a smile, greeting, What young Master Xiao said is correct. Your coming here is a true honor for us. The protagonist, irritated, thinks, This idiot! Even our ancestor was humiliated and he still dares to laugh. The little aunt exclaims, I'm so angry. He is the clan leader. How can he be so shameless? The messenger intervenes, declaring, "According to the last wish of Elder Xiao Zheng, I will select one of you and take him with me to the Xiao sect. Of course, you also have to understand that the Xiao sect will not accept useless people. Today, I will personally examine each of you. Come in order to show your deep strengths before me. I will select only the most talented person. By the way, the gift I brought with me on this trip will be given as a reward to the chosen one. Xiao clan leader, bring the deep recanalization powder." The leader, sweating, stammers, but, the messenger cuts him off, ordering, "Xiao clan leader, hurry up and bring it. Or are you unwilling to hand over the deep recanalization powder?" The clan leader starts to stammer and kneels, confessing, "I deserve to die." This morning, the deep channeling powder left in the medicine chamber suddenly disappeared. The elders, surprised, question, "What?" And the old man thinks, "Deep recanalization powder?" The little ant panics, claiming, "Dad, it wasn't me." The messenger slams his hand on the table indignantly. "What? You mean the deep recanalization powder was stolen? Who was it? Who dared to steal the gift brought by the Xiao sect?" The protagonist thinks, with Xiao Yunhai's cautious personality, it's not possible that he would make such a mistake. Moreover, this anger from Xiao Yulong is obviously an act. The messenger continues accusing, "Yesterday, when I showed the deep recanalization powder, there were only clan members around. I don't think you're stupid enough to spread the word about this to everyone, so I'm sure the thief must be someone from the Xiao clan." The clan master argues, "Young Master Xiao is right. However, the person in charge of the medicine chamber, Xiao Gu, is already close to 70 years old. Stealing the deep recanalization powder will be of no use to him. The suspect must be someone else." The protagonist thinks, Xiao Yunhai's expression is also fake. What are these two up to? The messenger asks, "Xiao clan leader, was the deep recanalization powder stolen along with the box, right?" The leader confirms, "Yes, they were stolen together." The messenger, with an air of triumph, reveals, "Great! In the box containing the deep recanalization powder, there is a mark of our Xiao sect's unique deep power, the eagle mark. Just activate it with our Xiao sect's unique deep power, and then we can sense the location of the eagle mark." The people agree, stating yes. He orders a subordinate, "Have Xiao Ju search." Xiao Ju makes a power appear and points, "Over there." He jumps and the messenger announces, "It seems we have already found them." The clan master, with a big smile, declares, "I have to see who dared to do something so vile. When we find the thief, I will hand him over to young Master Xiao to apply the punishment. I ask that young Master Xiao not be gentle." Xiao, slightly blushing, thinks, "Of course I'm going to punish her. And of course she will be punished in bed." The subordinate returns, informing, "Young Master Xiao, I found it. It was in courtyard 66 under the owner's pillow." The old man is startled, and the protagonist exclaims, "In courtyard 66? The ant soberly inquires, "How could it have appeared in my room? It wasn't me. I'm not a thief." The messenger observes her, thinking, "What a beautiful woman." What Xiao Yulong said is true. This Xiao Lingxi's appearance is definitely not inferior to Xia Qinyu's. With a smile, he extends his hand, shouting, "Men, tie her up and take her to my room. This beauty, this thief, will certainly receive a severe punishment." The protagonist watches this, thinking, "This guy. From the beginning, his goal was my little ant." One of the clan guys arrives laughing and blurts out, "I didn't expect the thief to be you. You provoked Master Xiao's wrath. Now you will go through a lot. Don't blame me. Tie her up." She murmurs, "I didn't do it." The old man yells, "Stop, all of you." He uses a power, and the clan master exclaims, "Xiao Li! What disrespect in front of young Master Xiao! You have limits." Master Xiao's subordinate, letting out a laugh, retorts, "What? Are you questioning young Master's decision?" Xiao Li Ya thinks, "How strong! This person is unfathomable. I must calm down. Acting with anger will only make things worse," and argues, "Young Master Xiao, Ji Er is a kind-hearted girl. All of this is certainly some misunderstanding. I beg for a fair investigation from young Master Xiao." The messenger counters, "In the face of concrete evidence, what more is there to investigate?" The clan master yells, "Oh, Lingxi, how could you have done this kind of thing? What a disappointment!" She exclaims, "It wasn't me. If I had stolen it, I would definitely have admitted it." Yulong accuses her, "Xiao Lingxi, you have always been very close to Xiao Che. You must have stolen the deep recanalization powder because of him." The people look at each other, commenting, "That's right. I was still wondering why Xiao Lingxi would have done this. So it was because of Xiao Che. It wasn't worth taking that risk for trash like him." With lascivious looks, the people watch her, commenting, She seemed very kind. I didn't expect her to do this kind of thing. If it wasn't for young Master Xiao, we wouldn't know what she's really like. To dare provoke the Xiao sect is simply seeking death. She, with tears in her eyes, becomes afraid. The protagonist holds her hand, comforting her. Little aunt, don't be afraid. It doesn't matter if they believe you or not. I will always believe in you. She blushes, whispering, Little Cha. The protagonist reassures her, leave the rest to me. Yulong taunts her. How arrogant! Trash like you wants to defy young Master Xiao? The protagonist thinks, so you're the one behind all this? Xiao Kuangyun had never seen my little aunt, so why would he frame her? Yulong rants, what are you looking at? If you want to fight, this older brother will accompany you. But then don't blame me for not being gentle. The protagonist greets him, saying, Young Master Xiao, let me introduce myself. I am Xiaoling Shi's nephew, Xiao Che. Regarding the theft of the deep opening powder, I have some questions I want to raise. Yulong thinks, he dared to ignore me. Soon I will take care of you. Just wait. The messenger inquires, so you're the famous piece of trash? I'm very generous. Very well. If you have any questions, ask. The protagonist blurts out, I want to ask the clan leader, the gift brought by young Master Xiao from far away for you, how important is it? The clan master replies, the gift from the Xiao sect is definitely the most important thing. The protagonist continues, everyone knows that the clan leader's temperament has always been serene and cautious. Am I right about that? The master confirms. But of course. The protagonist pressures him. Since that's the case, then, and questions. If you have always been serene and cautious, how is it that something as valuable as the deep recanalization powder was placed in a place without any guards, like the medicine chamber, clan leader? What were you thinking? The clan master is startled, and the bald elder yells, Xiao Che, what did you mean by that? Are you insinuating that the clan leader planned all this to frame Xiaoling Shi? And the protagonist, with a smile, says, Great elder, no need to get upset. You scared the clan leader so much that he started to sweat. The clan master, gritting his teeth, thinks, this plague, this little trash. When did he become so smart? A guy says, the clan leader's expression seems to be a little distorted. Is it true what this trash said? The clan master replies, there are many medicines in the chamber, and I left the deep recanalization powder mixed in so that the medicinal energy wouldn't dissipate. And a guy adds, so that's it. It would be a great loss if its medicinal energy was lost. And the clan master thinks, as a precaution, last night I was reading some books on medicine. I didn't expect this to be so useful. And the protagonist raises a finger saying, so that's why I knew. The deep recanalization powder has a sweet smell. Clan leader, check if this is the smell. The leader smells it and states, of course it has a sweet smell. Any problem? And the protagonist, with his hand on his chin, counters, however, the deep recanalization powder was left in the medicine chamber for a whole night, and there are countless medicines there. Therefore, there is a mixture of odors. So the smell, in fact, should be mixed. Completely incredulous, the clan master thinks, when food is placed together, resulting in a different taste and with the smell of medicinal materials, the same thing probably happens. Damn, how could I forget something like that? And with a smile he argues, I have a cold today and my nose is congested. I'll smell it again, and actually it does have a varied smell. And the protagonist narrows his eyes, saying, how strange. To be honest, I was lying. But why would the idiot leader accept smelling the varied scent? He exclaims, Xiao Che, are you mocking me? And the protagonist, with a serious look, points and says, since the clan leader didn't know anything about this, then why say that the deep recanalization powder was in the medicine chamber? Could it be? And exclaims, could it be that you are lying? The clan master grits his teeth thoughtfully. The little ant, slightly blushing, observes the protagonist, thinking, little Chi seems so brilliant. And the protagonist thinks, debating with me, the heir of the holy doctor, about medicinal powder, I will destroy you. Xia Qinyu observes, thinking, he did well with his words, but in the face of absolute power, what can he do now that he has exposed them? The messenger exclaims, regardless of whether he lied or not, Xiaoling Shi's punishment has already been decided. And the protagonist exclaims, nonsense! You don't even know where the deep recanalization powder was, and you still accuse my little aunt of stealing it. You clearly planned this to frame her. People of the clan, haven't you seen this yet? I ask all of you to give justice to my little aunt. And thinks, the truth is before your eyes. As long as you are not stupid, you will certainly understand this. And a guy retorts, what a lie! What a setup! What are you talking about? If young Master Xiao said she's guilty, then she's guilty. Who do you think you are to point fingers, you trash? If you have nothing better to say, get out! The messenger points a finger, yelling, "How dare you! Arrest this trash who defended the thief!" The elder attacks, yelling, "Little trash! To think you would be in a situation like this!" The protagonist is startled and yells, "Damn, have you no shame? You lost the argument and now you want to resort to violence?" A hand appears, grabbing his face. It's the protagonist's grandfather, who throws the guy back. The bald elders watch this grimly. The old man hits them, and the protagonist's grandfather exclaims, "How dare you treat my grandson in such a way? Do you think I've aged that much?" The people exclaim, "Holy God, this is the strength of the fifth elder. He defeated the clan leader with just one blow. His reputation is well deserved, as the #1 in the floating cloud city." The protagonist, watching the old man's back, thinks, "The Xiao clan has many strong specialists. Grandpa alone won't resist. Looks like I'll have to use my ultimatum." He nudges Qingyue and questions, "Qingyue, my wife, where is your master? Why hasn't she come yet?" She replies, "I don't know." And the protagonist exclaims, "Didn't we agree yesterday? You said your master was nearby, otherwise I wouldn't have dared to act like this today." He spins around her, insisting, "Come on, my wife, be a good girl. This is no time for jokes. Your master has definitely arrived and is now hiding somewhere, right?" She argues, "I really don't know." And the protagonist laments, "What? Am I going to die then?" The bald old man yells, "Xiao Li, what does this mean? Do you want to rebel?" Xiao Li retorts, "I just don't want Che and Qi to be falsely accused. I definitely have no intention of rebelling." And the bald old man yells, "Xiao Ling Qi and your daughter. Of course you would say that. Do you think anyone will believe you?" And the old man yells, "I, Xiao Li, despite not being a true knight, have always lived righteously, despite not having great achievements. But I have always lived under the light. I have never harmed or humiliated anyone." And Yu Long, with a crazy look, yells, "What a great joker! You fooled everyone in the Xiao clan for over 10 years and you still say you lived under the light?" The old man exclaims, "Xiao Yulong, what do you mean by that?" Xiao Yulong shoots, "Fifth elder, would you dare swear by your family that Xiao Che is your real grandson?" The elder is stunned by this, and Yulong points his finger, yelling, "I asked if you dare swear." The little ant cries and begs, "Father, what Xiao Yulong said is a lie, right? Little Qi is from our family, right?" And the protagonist inquires, "Grandpa, is what he said true?" And the old man confesses, "Qi, even though you weren't born into the family, I always treated you as if you were my own grandson." The protagonist becomes gloomy with this, and the bald old man yells, "Xiao Li, you dare let us raise a bastard for 16 years? If Yu Long hadn't warned us, you would still have allowed us to raise him for a lifetime?" And Yu Long soberly yells, "I always wondered, how could our clan's lineage give rise to this trash?" The messenger yells, "What are you waiting for? Expel this bastard immediately." And the protagonist, with a serious look, decrees, "I won't give you any trouble. Since I'm not part of the Xiao clan, I'll leave immediately. Grandpa, even though we're not blood-related." He kneels, declaring, "But so what? As long as you allow it, I will always be your grandson." The astonished old man says, "Of course you will always be your grandfather's grandson." The protagonist stands up and declares, "Grandpa, little ant, after I leave, you need to take good care of yourselves." And she, with tears in her eyes, begs, "Little Qi, don't go." The protagonist starts to leave, thinking, "Little ant, I'm sorry. If I had enough strength, if I could get stronger." He looks at his wife and asks, "Keep my grandfather and my little ant safe, please." And she replies, "All right, you can leave." And Yu Long yells, "Wait a moment, you can't leave yet." The protagonist, with an angry expression, retorts, "Xiao Yu Long, what else do you want?" Xiao Yu Long yells, "Everyone knows that the reason Xia Qingyue married the Xiao clan was just for repayment. Now you're just a bastard. What right do you have to accept Xia Qingyue's graces?" Others yell, "True. Xia Qingyue is married to the Xiao clan, not to a bastard. Hand over the marriage certificate immediately to dissolve it. Xia Qingyue cannot be married to the useless." And the clan master yells, "Hand over the marriage certificate immediately and then get out of the Xiao clan." And the bald man yells, "Yes, hand over the marriage certificate." The protagonist smiles, taking the certificate out of his cloak, and asks, "Hand over the marriage certificate." "Very well, I'll hand it over, but not to you." He approaches her and says, "Qingyue, how to proceed or whether to divorce is our business. No one has the right to intervene." She takes the certificate and the protagonist leaves, declaring, If you want to divorce, destroy this certificate. If you still want to continue being my wife, keep it. Leave everything to your decision. Observing this, the Xiao sect's emissary thinks, Xiao Yulong, good job. As long as the marriage dissolves, what I do next won't harm the sect's image. Tonight, Xiaqing Yue will be mine. And Yulong extends his hand, yelling, Miss Xia, there are many talented people within the Xiao clan. How about destroying this certificate and finding a decent husband? She dodges his palm, questioning, Are you deaf? Didn't you hear what my husband just said? And he thinks, She's quick. And she affirms, This is a matter between husband and wife. No one has the right to intervene. And Yulong, irritated, shoots, You still call him your husband? And she retorts, He is my husband. Any problem with that? And the messenger rants, How dare you? Whether to divorce or not is not for you to decide. Xiaoba, go and destroy the marriage certificate. The subordinate replies, Yes, young master. He charges towards her, who observes, You can't handle words, and now you want to use force? He approaches her with a demonic look, but is startled and frozen. She closes her eyes and the other exclaims, A sunny summer day with flying snow, could this be? A woman appears in the sky and the people point. She speaks, You of the Xiao sect are becoming bolder and bolder, huh? So much so that you even interfered in my disciples' marital affairs. Who gave you the power to interfere in such a matter? She is one of the 7 fairies of the frozen cloud, Xiaqing Yue. Someone shouts, Holy God, am I hallucinating? Is she really floating in the air without the help of external force? It's not just a jump. She's standing, firm and calm. The clan master deduces levitation technique. So this is the legendary profound realm of the heavens. And the guy grits his teeth and shoots. Fairies of the frozen cloud? Drooling, the messenger shoots. Since you came to me today, tonight you will also be mine. What a beautiful woman. The subordinate slaps him and shouts, Idiot! She belongs to one of the most powerful forces within the Blue Wind Empire, the Frozen Cloud. And her position is only inferior to the sect leader. Not even your father would dare to bother her. If you want to die so badly, then die alone. Don't take me with you. Qing Yue greets, Master. And someone replies, Actually, Xiaqing Yue belongs to Asgard's Frozen Cloud. And the master, with a dark look, inquires, Moments ago, you wanted to destroy my disciple's marriage certificate. And the messenger begs, No, I don't dare. It was just a joke. And gritting his teeth, he thinks, Damn it. It seems I have no more hope with Xiaqing Yue. He makes a sound of disgust and looks at the little aunt. And with a dark look and a smile, he thinks, Fortunately, I still have Xiaoling Qi. Since I have no chance with Xiaqing Yue, tonight I'll leave you finished. The master speaks. Qing Yue, do you still remember our agreement? It's been a month since your marriage, and according to the agreement, it's time to return to the Cloud Fairy Palace. And she completes, Master. While the Xiao clan messenger watches, he thinks, So this damn woman wants to go back with Xiaoqing Yue? Go ahead. Even if I only have Xiaoling Qi, it will be enough to play with for a long time. And Qing Yue asks, Master, before leaving, my husband, he asked me to protect his grandfather and his little aunt, and I accepted his request. The guy gets irritated, and the master, with a serious look, says, This matter has nothing to do with the fairy palace. The reason your master appeared was solely because of you. And the messenger clenches his fist with a smile on his face, thinking, Of course Asgard's frozen cloud doesn't offer charity. There's no reason for you to get involved in this, old witch. Take your disciple away from here. Qing Yu lowers her head and asks, I beg you, master. After returning to Asgard, this disciple will cultivate at full steam as retribution for master's graces. And the master replies, By the Asgard cultivation method, you must have a cold heart. He's just your nominal husband, so you don't need to worry about it, much less ask me about it. And she exclaims, I beg you, master. And the master says, Well, since you insist on it, your master... And Yulong exclaims, Fairy, please wait. Xiaoling Shi has committed the crime of theft, so this is a family matter, and a matter of my Xiao clan. The frozen cloud of Asgard is strong, but it cannot interfere in the family matters of other people. Fairy, you will do more damage to your reputation if you interfere. I ask that you reconsider. And the old man yells, Xiao Yulong, if you know this is a family matter, why do you have to say it in front of a stranger? Do you still consider yourself someone from the Xiao clan? And Yulong exclaims, Justice is right in people's hearts. And with a smile, he thinks, I don't care about being shameless, as long as I can enter the Xiao sect. I don't give a damn about Xiaoling Shi. The messenger, upon hearing this, laughs in his thoughts. Blessed Xiao Yulong. Of course, family matters need to be resolved within the family. Outsiders will not have the right to interfere. And the master declares, where did so much nonsense come from? This matter has bothered me, and I want to interfere. Can't I? The scene shifts to the city. The protagonist is shown walking. Some people watching him comment, look, isn't that Xiao Qi, that useless guy? Why is he here? Another says, did someone intimidate him? I suppose he was rejected by his wife and kicked out of the house. Another laughs and says, after all, she's a flower next to a piece of shit. And the protagonist thinks, Xiao Yulong, you poisoned me to death. You motivated Zhao Kuangyun to mess with my little aunt. You forced me to dissolve my marriage, you expelled me from the Xiao clan, and you even made Grandpa suffer public humiliation. With a dark look, the protagonist exclaims, today I, Xiao Che. He takes out the plant he got and, gritting his teeth, exclaims, I will make you live a life worse than death. The scene shifts back to the Xiao clan. A guard says, today was really a day of many incidents. Fortunately, the thief was eventually captured. Another asks, did you really believe that Xiao Lingxi was the thief? The other raises a finger, stating, wasn't it clear that Zhao Kuangyun was acting and Zhao Qi exposed him? Besides, I'm not blind. The other retorts, so what if he exposed him? In a situation like this, of course everyone would try to please the Xiao sect. And the other concludes, true, who would care about Zhao Lingxi's life? Although the fairy of the frozen cloud of Asgard made them spare her, imprisonment as punishment was inevitable. The protagonist, approaching with a serious expression, thinks, the effect of consuming the star concealment herb allows me perfect invisibility for only 2 periods. Whether it's the body, the sound, the aura, or the objects on the body, everything becomes completely hidden. He walks past the guards and further ahead thinks, Xiao Qingyue really didn't disappoint me. At least my little aunt didn't fall into Zhao Kuangyun's hands. Although punishment was inevitable, according to the clan rules, my little aunt must be locked up in the ravine of reflection. I suppose Grandpa is taking care of her there. For now, I don't need to worry about him. Further on is Xiao Yulong's room. The scene shows Xiao Bai carrying Xiao Yulong saying, older brother, after you enter the Xiao sect, don't forget about this younger brother. And Yulong replies, of course, even though the plan resulted in failure, I did a great job and Xiao Kuangyun saw my effort. Bai comments, older brother has a refined mind, you are an example. And Yulong laughs and says, come, older brother. First, you have to go back to your room and rest. The scene shifts back to Yulong's room, who says, frozen cloud of Asgard can only protect Xiao Lingxi for a while, not forever. Bai asks, do you have another plan in mind, brother? Lying in bed, Yulong gives a smile and states, but of course otherwise, Zhao Kuangyun wouldn't choose me. A year later, I will bring him back to the Xiao clan again, and then Xiao Lingxi will no longer be able to escape. Bai exclaims, older brother, you are truly amazing. We'll talk in more detail tomorrow. Sleep first. Bai leaves, and Yulong, almost asleep, laughs and says, when tomorrow comes, I will be able to enter the Xiao sect. He starts to sleep, dreaming of the Xiao sect. The protagonist appears beside him thinking, you still want to enter the Xiao sect and gain a prosperous future? Planning to lay your hands on my little aunt after a year? He prepares to strike, stating, it's a shame you won't make it to that day. Blood spurts and a scream echoes. The clan master, upon hearing the scream, exclaims, that voice is Yulong's. He enters the room completely terrified and sees Yulong unconscious. He yells Yulong's name, and the bald elder exclaims, clan leader, calm down. Although the wounds are deep, the vital parts were not harmed. I'll go to the medicine chamber right now and bring the vital restorative powder. The clan leader exclaims, please, great elder. And the young man asks, what happened? It hurts so much. His father replies, nothing happened, just a small wound. As long as you take the vital restorative powder, you will recover. A fire breaks out in the clan and someone yells, this is not good. The medicine chamber is on fire. Hurry! Someone put out the fire. What a strong smell. Many medicines have already been burned. Great elder, this fire is very intense. It will be dangerous. And his son says, medicine. The vital restorative powder. And the clan leader yells, don't worry, Yulong. Father will go get the medicine right now. He's left alone, murmuring, Father! The door closes and he exclaims, what happened? How did the door close by itself? And the protagonist says, idiot, of course someone closed it. And he, frightened, exclaims, who's there? Show yourself. The protagonist appears, stating, Cousin Yulong can't even recognize me. And he gets scared, saying, Xiaoche, how did you get in? Guards. The protagonist wields the knife, saying, there's a big commotion going on outside. Even if you scream, no one will come to save you. He hits the bed, yelling, what are you doing? Don't come near me. The protagonist, with the knife in his hand and a dark look, says, don't waste your energy. The knife from before has temporarily incapacitated you. And as for the reason I came here, he exclaims, don't do it. Don't do it. The protagonist stabs him, saying, obviously it was to collect the debt. He hits his arm. A sound echoes and Yulong yells, I don't want to die. Please spare me. And the protagonist says, spare you? No, I'm just getting started. I want you to know the consequences of harming my loved ones. With this cut, I want your eyes to never see again. He makes a cut, and the guy screams in pain. The protagonist makes another cut, exclaiming, with this cut, I want your mouth to never speak again. With this cut, you will lose your descendants. Completely insane, the protagonist yells. A despicable person like you is not worthy of having heirs. The scene shifts back to the cave. The ant asks, Father, it's best you go back. It's very humid here, you might get sick. And the old man says, just thinking that you will be locked up here for 15 years. How can I not be worried? And she retorts, at least I'm still in the Shi clan, but little Shi doesn't even have a place to stay. I don't even know where he is now. Did he eat? The old man adds, Chet. He is startled and yells, who's there? The protagonist replies, Grandpa, little ant. She runs, grabbing the protagonist, and exclaims, little Shi, I'm not dreaming, am I? Little Shi is back. And the old man questions, was it the clan leader who let you come back? And the protagonist reveals, how could that scum let me come back? I infiltrated discreetly, and also, I gave them a great gift. The clan leader, all messed up, exclaims, Yulong, Daddy got the vital restorative powder. Very soon, you will. Upon seeing, he is completely dumbfounded, saying, Yulong. Another laments, oh my, how cruel, this is terrible. And the bald old man comes closer, analyzing. All 4 limbs crippled, his deep veins are ruined, all 5 of his senses have been destroyed, including his lower part. He's still alive, but his condition is worse than being dead. And the clan leader, breaking the container, yells, who was it? Who did this? Who was it that committed such a cruel act? An aura explodes from his body, and the people ask, who was it? What? Clan leader, there are some words written on that wall. The crazed leader looks at what is written, and it says, Old Shi clan, to congratulate you on your dog son entering the Shi sect, I offer you this great gift. Please accept it kindly. The clan leader punches the wall, yelling, who was it? Show yourself right now, you damn bastard.